Dr. Julian, we are live. You can go ahead to start us off.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome yet again to another session. ABYA, African Blockchain Youth Ambassadors, is inviting you or welcoming you to another very, very riveting session, a discussion around digital entrepreneurship under the backdrop of blockchain. Yeah, but as usual, before we start, a message from our executive director on what ABYA is all about. Paul, if you could just walk us through that, and then we can commence the conversation.
Thank you, our viewers, our invited speaker. My name is Paul Makolaka, co-founder and executive director of Africa Blockchain Youth Ambassadors, or ABYA. ABYA is a Pan-African initiative created to promote and enhance adoption of blockchain, cryptocurrency, and Web3 across Africa. And specifically, we target university students. And the reason why specifically our target is on the youth is because youth are most of the time left out of the economic equation. And so we believe that by empowering them with future-proof skills, we will not only empowering future leaders, but also society as a whole. And we are very proud and happy to be helping them on this journey. Thank you very much. Back to you, Dr. Julian.
Thank you very much, Paul. My name is Dr. Julian Rower. I'm the Director, Strategy and Quality Assurance at Africa Blockchain Youth Ambassador, also known as ABYA. I consider myself a scholar practitioner with a big interest in bridging the gap between theory and practice, having just recently earned my doctorate from University of Liverpool. I enjoy intense conversations, and Utpal makes it even more intense and interesting. That is what I enjoy to do, as I also see myself as a conversational intellectual. I'm an enthusiast of blockchain technology. The other hat that I wear is that of the CEO, Schedules Business and Management Consulting. This is an outfit that intervenes in workplace-based problems. And before we went live, Utpal, I was telling you some of the things that I'm trying to do to assist organizations. Today, our topic of discussion is digital entrepreneurship. Paul, I think there's some bit of sound on your side. So if you could just mute.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Thank you very much. Our conversation today is digital entrepreneurship under the banner of blockchains. To our attendees, our audience, we welcome you to be part of this conversation. Feel free to share your comment or your question on the left-hand side of your window, which in the fullness of time we'll be able to bounce off those questions to our guest today, Utpal. I would like to first and foremost welcome Utpal Chakraborty. Now I can get it right after a couple of times to this other session, and we've been together again in the past. Utpal, karibu sana, feel most welcome. And now you'll allow me just to read very briefly your bio. Before I start, Utpal, where are you calling from? India, right?
Yes, from Mumbai, India.
From Mumbai, India. Fantastic. Thank you very much. Utpal is an eminent data scientist and AI researcher, strategist and thought leader with more than 2 decades of industry experience, including as a principal architect in Larsen and Toubro, L&T, Infotech, IBM, Capgemini, and other MNCs, including heading the artificial intelligence division of Yes Bank. His recent research on machine learning, titled Layered Approximation for Deep Neural Networks, has been appreciated in different premier conferences, institutions, and universities. He has addressed 200 plus premier conferences on AI, machine learning, analytics, and RPA, including scientific conferences across the globe as keynote speaker. Utpal has published 150 plus technical articles on AI, machine learning, and agile in many different premier publishing. Utpal, it's my pleasure to invite you again to our session today. Feel welcome, and I say again in Swahili, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Dr. Julian. So it is always pleasure to have conversation with you and to be part of African blockchain, youth blockchain association. So ABYA, so it is really great talking to you and Paul always.
Thank you so much. So Utpal has been on with us before, and if you want to know a bit about him as a person, then you can visit one of our earlier videos. But what I will again invite him to tell us, which he did even then, but for the purposes of our audience today, is to tell us briefly about Allied Digital Services Limited and what he does there. Utpal, over to you.
Yes, so thank you, Dr. Julian. So Allied Digital Services Limited, it's a 39 years old organization. So we are into many things. So we are into software development, we are into smart cities, we are into all emerging technologies. So on the smart cities, we are pioneer in India. So we have got around 21 smart cities that built by our team, and many of the smart city projects are highly successful using a lot of AI, video analytics, lot of optimization in the smart cities and all those things. And apart from that, also we are a master system integrator and do a lot of software development for a lot of companies. Very recently, when I say very recently, a year back, we started a fintech vertical here, and because fintech is very hot nowadays, right? So everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have started a fintech vertical wherein we have built a conversational banking platform, which is an award-winning platform here.
Yeah.
It has already owned 5 awards. The name of the platform is Fino Allied Conversational Banking Platform. Kind of. So these are some of the things that we are doing, and I'm quite excited doing all those things. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Utpal. That is very well put. You are recently involved in a project, Banking Role and its Metaverse Future. FinTech Festival India Mega Event 2022. I'm assuming it has already happened.
Yes.
What was the major takeaway in this particular event?
Yeah, so FinTech Festival of India is a yearly event. It's a very, what do you call? It's a very big and premier event, I would say. So every year you will see 100+ FinTech companies from across the globe. They used to join, and also the banks and financial institutions from India. They used to join this event. And in this particular event, so there is a little bit of shift from, because from last 2 years during the pandemic, it was not happening physically. It was
Uh-huh.
happening virtually in a very restricted kind of a environment. Not much public were there, although I was also part during the virtual event. But what I have seen from say 2018-19 and 2022,
Yeah.
huge there is a huge shift in the fintech world. Okay, so primarily, if you look at during 2017, 18, 19, or before that, it was mostly payment systems,
Yeah.
right? So lot of payment systems came into play, and they were basically ruling the entire fintech kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So all kind of payments, and definitely here also the payment systems. So there are many companies who are into payment gateways, who are into basically payment switches, wherein high transaction systems can, I mean, high transactions can be performed into the system. But in 2022, it is a complete shift. Now I can
Uh-huh.
see it is kind of Web 3.0,
Uh-huh.
metaverse, most importantly, blockchain.
Yeah.
Okay, so startups are coming up with this kind of products. Of course, many of the products are also crypto related. There are wearables. Okay, so I've seen a lot of wearables, and you can do all kind of payments through crypto or through your normal currency. So that is coming, and also another area is low code, no code platforms. Okay,
Uh-huh.
so there were many low code, no code platforms wherein just by dragging and dropping, you can do a lot of things. So you do not have to actually write codes. So that is another area that I have seen, right? So having said that, it is not like that the payment uh, hype was going away. No, not at all. But payment is actually taking a different kind of a turn and
Uh-huh.
twist, right? So definitely a lot of solutions came, which is basically empowering the cross-border payments. Okay, and when you do cross-border payments, so there are a lot of regulatory and compliance-related things involved. Okay, it could be trade finance or it could be
Yeah.
normal cross-border payments. So here, RegTech is playing a major role. So there where companies into RegTech is coming. So that is a new trend. Okay.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
was also surprised to see this kind of things. And also InsurTech, the insurance companies, so technology is governing the insurance domain, that is also coming. So this is a completely, so after 2 years of completely kind of a shutdown and
Yeah.
then coming back to this, so it was a completely, because I do a, I mean, very minute study on this, right? To see like what are the trends in fintech. Okay, and I'm pretty sure the same thing is going to is happening in fintech festival in Singapore. Okay, and the same thing happened actually another fintech fest, India Fintech Fest, which is also one of the biggest event in India, which happened just last month. In a very big convention center here called Geo World Convention Center in Mumbai. So they are also the same trend I have seen. So it is metaverse. It
Okay.
is Web 3.0 on, and the backbone of that is your blockchain. Okay, so blockchain is a huge focus today. Okay, and I think uh, you guys are at a very right right kind of a thing at this point of time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, pal. Very well put. That's amazing. So we want to dive deeper into the topic of the day now. Digital entrepreneurship means different things to different people. From where you sit, what should be our understanding of digital entrepreneurship? When we're talking about digital entrepreneurship, what should come to our mind?
Yeah. So to my understanding, mm, whatever entrepreneurship that actually we talk about, so startups. Okay, so
Yeah.
startups
Yeah.
are I think across the globe. I think this is startups are, and I'm very happy, right? So this is needed. Okay,
Yeah.
so we need. It is not only like people coming out from the colleges just looking for jobs. Okay, so they should start looking into these dimensions also,
Yeah.
because the reason behind that is now you can start a small or a medium enterprise, which we call MSMEs,
Yeah.
right? Small and medium enterprises, without much investment. Okay, which was not the case if you go back 10 years,
Yeah.
right? Because at that point of time, if you have to start your any entrepreneurial journey, you have to do a huge investment. Okay, investment on the infrastructure, investment on putting your business investment on your offices, your people, and not many things, right? So now everything is moving into cloud. Okay, and all the technologies, almost all the technologies are coming up, right? Like most of them are open sources, and also various platform to learn technologies by yourself. Okay, not depending on many other people. That makes many enthusiast minds, okay, to take up this kind of a challenge. So still I would say it is a challenge. Okay, so your entrepreneurial journey is not a bed of roses, right, always.
Yeah.
So it has got challenges, but at the same time, but these challenges has been minimized by these factors, right? So now everything is on cloud. You have got, you can put, you have got all the softwares in your hand. You yourself as a CEO, okay, you know how to do coding,
Yeah.
right? And you can bring some like-minded people, probably 2 3 people, okay, and you can start building things. So this is on the software side. But
Yeah.
having said that, there are many other things also associated. So you can start your e-commerce business. You can start any kind of business, say very small kind of a concept or a business into digital platforms. So now the digital platforms are also available. In fact, you need not, sometimes you need not have to build your platform to get your customers. you have got your social media, right? Through social media, you can bring your customers, you can actually ideate your concept, you can get investors there, you can build your enterprise, and you can do business. So that is the beauty. So that's what I see, that digital is playing a major role in this modern entrepreneurial journey.
Interesting. Very, very, very interesting. You've put it very, very well. I would like to draw in Paul so that I bring a bit of an African context. So, Paul, the question I'm going to ask you, it's a build-up to what Utpal has just said. If you could give us an illustration by way of an example of a typical digital enterprise, and if you could, if you could make it applicable within the African context.
Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Julian. And just to bring into perspective what you have asked me to respond to, let me first just echo what Utpal has said, in that there are a lot of things that have happened over the last few years. And in the space of digital entrepreneurship, especially in the space of in the digital space, we have a number of things. For example, we have the software bit, which Utpal has already mentioned, things like low-code platforms, which can enable entrepreneurs to build up application, not necessarily having to be technical in terms of coding or programming. And then, of course, we have a lot of social media platforms that are out there that can enable someone to easily go to Facebook or Instagram and start a page and start selling immediately, yeah, without any upfront capital, startup capital to do that. And then, of course, we also have a lot of devices that have really been pushing this, this digital space. We have sensors, we have wearables, we have mixed reality gears that are used to really give users a really different kind of experience than what we have seen before. And specifically to go to an African example, a few years ago when Jumia was being set up, I mean, we have all seen how it has transformed to a mere online shop, just providing a few products. And now we can all bear testimony of how it has grown, yeah, into something that, I mean, we all admire. So Jumia would be a very, very good example on how, we can take advantage of this, digital space that has been grown and develop into something that can really become an icon. Thank you. Back to you, Dr. Julian.
Yeah, you've explained it very well. The reason I was insisting on an African context is so that people can resonate. When we listen to Utpal, sometimes we have a global view and we think that is not for us because of the complexities of how it all looks. So when Paul, now you bring it closer home and you say that Jumia have done something similar, then we can quickly begin to connect and say, oh, this is the reality we are talking about. And Utpal is only making it look better by way of all the other factors or opportunities that are available out there. Now, so you'll mute again, Paul. And then I go back to our chief guest, Utpal. My experience in this technical space is that we are so technical in the way that we look at things. And sometimes we forget the softer skills that may be required to make a digital enterprise profitable. And so there's a lot of focus. That has been my experience. I've been trying to sell myself on LinkedIn or to create a profile for myself in LinkedIn. And for a long time, I was buried into the technical components, but now I'm beginning to think, wait a minute, it's about marketing, it's about targeting, it's about all those companies. So I'm thinking, Utpal, when we are talking about digital enterprise, what kind of skills should we develop so that we are very, very effective in the way that we run it? What kind of competencies do we need, or even attributes? So over to you, and it can be both technical and soft skills. But over to you, just teach us on that one, because I struggle a lot with tech people on that part of a discussion.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Julian. I think you have touched upon something which is very, very, very important, because I closely work with the entire startup ecosystem in India, and I know them. I know their pain points. I know their strengths. I know their weaknesses. I know everything. So, on that perspective, I'll talk about. So, I think yes, technical is one area, but it is not the it is not everything, right? So what we have seen is students from premier technical institutes like IITs in India. I'll give you an example
Yeah,
here, and same goes for I think across the globe. To some extent, of course, there will be a little bit of variation geography-wise. Uh, with brilliant concept, with brilliant technical skill, they build the product also, but still, if you look at the success rate of startups in India, so probably it is not even 20%. Okay, the
interesting.
reason being, the reason being, it is not about all about technical. It is about how you can sell,
Wow.
how you can sell your concept, how you can sell your product, how you can sell your vision. Okay, how you can sell your vision to the different stakeholders that you are going to encounter at different stages of your startup, starting from the very initial stage
Yeah,
when you want to sell your vision to your co-founders, right? Because
yeah,
you need few like-minded people. So as a founder, I should have that skill to convince them
yeah,
into this particular concept and build this concept. So that is first level of selling, right?
yeah,
The second level of selling comes when you go to a early stage angel investor,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Angel investors will also look into, okay, uh, what is the strength that you
Yeah,
have into the product.
yeah, correct.
Apart from that, also look at the people, okay.
Yeah,
You as a founder or your team co-founders, okay, how they can convince him, how they can sell their vision to the angel investor. And then the story goes, right? Then once
yeah,
you get the angel investment, you go for a venture for second level of funding, right?
yeah.
So
Mhm.
a bigger funding. At that point of time, of course, you need to also show how your business is going. So you start earning revenue, right? And
Mhm.
start running revenue in any business. It requires a lot of soft skills
Yeah,
in terms of doing meetings, in terms of convincing people, convincing stakeholders, in terms of be analytical, be very, very mathematical also.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
because you will have to give everything on figures, okay, facts and figures.
yeah,
So these are some, and apart from all those things, there is a X factor. Okay,
yeah,
the X factor is nobody knows that factor, or you cannot define that factor, right? So that, yeah, yeah. So that factor is, you'll see somebody like Dr. Julian. Okay, so when I talk to you, okay, so you have got that X factor, right? So you can attract people, right? People will listen to you. Okay, when you come to a meeting, okay, automatically focus will go to you. Okay, when you speak, others will automatically stop speaking, listen to you. That is called X factor, right? And that comes with your lot of experience, lot of this thing, dealing with people, this, that, and all those things. So as an entrepreneur, you need to develop everything, because it is not a, as I told you, it is not a very smooth journey. Okay, in this journey you are going to face a lot of challenges, and you need to know how to deal with those challenges. And there, your those skills, soft skills, plays a major role than your technical skill, because you already have that technical skill and you have already built that product. Okay, so that is, everything is done. So I think it is an area. I would say, Julian, if you are working on this, I think this will be a great contribution to the startup economy, or to the startup ecosystem. I'm telling you, yeah.
Wow. Oh my God. I've never heard it said so profoundly. And how I wish many tech people knew what you have just shared. And I don't know to what extent you go out of your way, Utpal, to educate people on these fundamentals, because I can tell you, and I'm taking the example of Africa, that understanding is in short supply. Paul, I want to draw you into this. Utpal has said something very, very, very compelling for me. What does that say? What does that say about our situation, especially technical people being excellent salespeople? What does that say? Because that's a bit worrying.
And in fact, like just under about 1 hour ago,
Yeah,
we just finished a workshop. I was just coming out of a workshop,
yeah,
and in this workshop, uh, it's about entrepreneurs, and I agree totally with what Utpal says.
yeah,
The technical skills are already there. I think now what we need to work on is the soft skills, and
yeah.
it is these soft skills that will actually help us to accumulate our social capital, so that uh, most of the time, technical people communicating to the other, the users and customers is a big challenge, because you have to understand that technical people, they look at things from a technical point of view.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think I agree totally with the Utpal that it is very, very important, as technical people, when we decide to become entrepreneurs and we want to develop products, that we really need to work on our soft skills, so that this is what actually will help us to be able to communicate effectively to the different stakeholders, to investors, to our team members, to our customers, and to all different stakeholders who are involved. So I totally agree. This is very crucial, and especially at this juncture, whereby the digital space is opening and providing a lot of opportunities that were not previously envisioned. So what that means is that the field is being opened up for a lot of entrepreneurs to be able to get into this space, because the playing field has been leveled, so that as many people as possible can get into this
Okay.
space. So I think to be able to increase our success rate as entrepreneurs going forward, uh, building that the muscle on the soft skills will be very, very critical and very crucial, and will determine our rate of success as entrepreneurs. Thank you. Back to you, Dr. Julian.
Very interesting. So, Paul, what you're saying is that there's an opportunity in the area of building capacity for tech
Yes,
people.
yes,
Utpal, that's
yes,
what you
there is.
there's an opportunity there.
Yes, there is.
Yeah, I want to hear from Utpal as well. There's an opportunity, Utpal.
Absolutely, absolutely, Dr. Julian. There's a huge opportunity there.
Very, very interesting. Oh, wow. I have learned so much from that question, and that was very, very, very helpful. So now, this is an interesting one. I want to capitalize on digital entrepreneurship, because from the comfort of where I am, you know, the issues of reach, building products. I really want to capitalize on that. And it's the only way to go. Everybody is going that direction. But then I'm also worried about the rapid change in digital transformation. It changes every day. So I built something really fancy. 6 months later, somebody else built something fancier than what I just did. Utpal, how do we position ourselves so that we are continuously relevant in the problem we are trying to solve in business under digital entrepreneurship?
Yes, I think this is
Massive change every day, and you can take time to reflect on this. So don't feel rushed. Every day there's something new, and I've just come up with a proposition digitally that does wonders. But it's a space that changes. You said this, Utpal, that in 5 years from now, the conversation will be different from what we've been discussing. You've just said yourself that this conference that you attended gave you things that you had not thought about before. And that is where I'm coming from. So, how do we keep pace and how do we stay relevant with the propositions that we've developed?
absolutely. I think this is something. So that's why I keep on saying that
Yeah,
a entrepreneur should have another ingredient
yeah,
which is not highlighted much into the media or not discussed much, is basically a entrepreneur also need to be a futurist. Okay,
yeah.
uh, you should you should have that capability of look into future
Uh huh.
a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and also while developing any product or
Yeah.
any kind of services, you need to see that what is my probably uh, what do you call immediate plan, my short-term plan, and
Yeah.
my long-term plan.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
product roadmap should cater to this 5 years, 10 years kind of a plan, and you should be able to see that future. Because
Yeah.
if you build a product roadmap, okay, or for your services roadmap,
Yeah.
and if you cannot look into the future, then how you are going to build that roadmap?
Wow.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
need to be a futurist to see that these are things. And another ingredient which is also very very important, and this is not only for entrepreneurs, by the way, for anybody today, okay, who is there in the industry, is basically ability to adapt to the changes.
Yeah.
Okay, so this change management is not an organizational change management.
Yeah.
It is it is a change management in our life, how
Yeah.
we live,
Yeah.
okay, how we earn. Okay, so everything is a change management, and adapting to these changes and ready to accept those changes, do that calculation, uh,
Yeah.
probably take little bit of risks. Okay, so you need to have that kind of a risk appetite also. Okay, how much risks you can take, that calculative risks. So this all ingredients plays a very major role when you build something, some product or something. Because I have also seen, see, very very. In fact, this is a very very important question, Dr.
Thank you.
Julian, what you have
Thank you.
brought about,
Yeah.
because I have seen startups. They at that point of time, say probably 5 years back, their products was so relevant at that point of time. But after that, they were not been able to keep pace with the
Yeah.
changes that was happening in the
Yeah.
market situation and
Yeah.
all. Okay, and then they got completely abolished from the market. So this is very very important. So you need to be a futurist. You need to also be
Okay.
a risk taker, because that is something very very important. If you cannot take a risk, then I think, I mean, it is better to go for a job rather than for. Yes. So
You better get employment.
exactly, exactly. So that is there, and yeah,
That
and
is
this
really
and
harsh.
true.
That's
Yeah,
very interesting. You've put it in a very, very interesting, in a very, very
yeah.
interesting way. In fact, I'm reflecting about what you've just said. That is really powerful. And Paul, I think many people need to hear that comment from Utpal, because that is the difference between winners and losers in a sustainable way. That is my take. And I think Utpal, we've generated new knowledge with that. I'm sure it will be of benefit to a lot of people. I don't doubt that. So I'll draw in Paul with a question, and then I would invite Utpal to react after Paul has given us his thoughts on this. So Paul, I'm quoting somebody here, and I'll tell you who I'm quoting. Using business processes and capabilities to achieve the wants. I repeat, using business processes and capabilities to achieve the wants of customers is of paramount importance to up and coming companies. Absolute importance to upcoming companies and their digital enterprises. So this is the question. I'm quoting a gentleman by the name Hutting. They wrote this in 2022. So my question to you, Paul, is how does one deliver the wants of customers, and how do they establish that want?
Now, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
Is that number one, any business that wants to remain relevant in the future, and for today's purposes, we are not. If we are to connect it with some of the discussions that we've had in this platform about sustainable businesses, so that we are not just looking at businesses that are capitalistic, that are only looking at profit maximization. So we are looking at businesses that will want to survive into the foreseeable future, and wants to remain relevant. And of course, one of the ways to do that is to take care of the needs of their customers as one of very, very important stakeholders for their business. Yeah. And of course, to be able to do this is to look inwardly and see some of the resources that they already have. And some of these resources, of course, one of them would be, the structures that the organization have. And once they have identified some of the internal resources they have, that could be, structures, the next step, of course, would be to engage the customers. Because, for example, a business that wants to satisfy the needs of their customers cannot make assumptions on behalf of their customers without engaging them, right? So what that means is that the organization would have to be very, very strategic in terms of how they use the existing structure, and probably even make them better to create channels of engagement with their customers, so that the moment they have this channel of engagements, then they are able to get feedback from their customers, and this feedback loops then helps this organization to create products, or to even improve existing products that really resonates with the changing needs of the customers. Because as Utpal rightfully said, our digital, our requirements, our lifestyle, our needs as human beings, as people, they keep on changing. So what that means is that even the customer's needs are not static; they are changing. So the moment we have that, feedback loop, then that helps us to inform the new features or new characteristics that we need to update constantly, so that we are able to keep up with the changing needs of the customers. Thank you. I hope I've answered you, Dr. Julian.
You put it very, 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 very well. And thank you for that reaction, or that response, Paul. Today I'm really going to sweat Utpal. Today, I'm going to squeeze all the juice I can from you, Utpal. So I'm going to make a follow-up question. What I've just asked Paul, I'm going to twist it and give it to you so that we can learn from you, from your thoughts. So I see a conflict. Traditional enterprises would do things informed by market intelligence or market survey. And then you say, this is what the market is saying. This is how we are going to respond to it. That's the traditional enterprise. Then you have the digital enterprise. And I've seen this in many large organizations. They even have an innovation lab. And the innovation lab talks about sitting down and building things which you believe people need, and then you push it to market. And for me, there's an interesting conflict there. But again, you can share your thoughts. Is there a right approach, Utpal?
I think these questions are really brilliant questions, Dr. Julian. I think, the level of this question, and in fact, yeah, it is an enlightening session for me as well.
Thank you. Thank you
And
very much.
yeah, and what Paul is also sharing. So this is very. So feedback loop is one thing. Is definitely that channel should be open.
Yeah.
Because somehow, if it is a one-way communication, like you are selling the products, you are selling the products,
Yeah.
but you are not getting the feedback, then
Yeah.
definitely this is not going to be a long-term kind of a
Exactly.
endeavor, right? So that is very, very important. But what you said now is that's what actually I was coming to. That whatever businesses that we are seeing, like coming up into the market, and say probably within 5 years, it is kind of a very big business, right? A unicorn or more than a unicorn. So those businesses are definitely coming from innovations. So one is, of course, looking into the market needs, what the market should be able to absorb. Like, see, I'll touch upon a little bit on the Indian market, right?
Yeah, correct.
So, yeah. So Indian market, I think, is one of the most democratic market of the world. Okay. So here anybody can come. It is a test ground. Okay. And they can play and see which product is working and which is not working. And here you will get the length and breadth of appetites in the market. Okay, you can sell a very, very costly this kind of product, and also a very, very economic kind of. So all types of customers are there. You have got customers who are very, very educated and very, very, and also you have got customers who are very, very traditional and very, very kind of this kind of thing. So you get all kind of. So that's why I say Indian market. So if somebody wants to launch a product, at least to test a product, I think Indian market is the best market. Okay, so I'm not just selling my country's market, but it is the fact. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's why you think of, I mean, anybody, okay, is sitting in Silicon Valley or anywhere, they think of building a product, they first think of Indian market, whether it will go to the Indian market or not. Okay, why? Because the market is such. Okay, kind of thing. So now coming to, I mean, the answer to your question. So how? So one is definitely the market research. Okay, and you find out that these are the areas, okay, wherein you can actually bring a product. There is no competition. This is all your statistical parameters and all those things. But this is a very, 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 very traditional business, and I think these businesses are growing to a certain extent. After that, it is not growing. There is a saturation there. Innovation kind of things are actually going great, and that's where I think that uh, I don't know what kind of a research people do, okay, to bring that kind of system. So simple example is unified payment system, right? This payment system, I'm doing across this thing, this idea. I don't know who brought this idea, okay, but this is a brilliant idea. Okay. Or any kind of thing. Social media. You talk about social media. Who brought about this idea? Nobody have thought even to see. In my college days and school days, I've never thought that I will have a social media. I think probably Dr. Julian, you also, right? But
Yeah.
social media companies are one of those top 10 companies today.
Yeah.
right? What you
Yeah.
are doing, you are just sharing
Interesting.
your kind of thing. So I think this innovation-driven
Uh-huh.
entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
is going to play a very, very crucial role.
Okay.
It's already playing, and it is going to play a very, very crucial role in coming future. And I would encourage all young entrepreneurs to open up that fourth dimension of their mind, that
Okay.
fourth dimension of their mind, and think of something that yes, and analyze something that this is something. If I bring it to the market will automatically absorb it.
Wow. 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 Paul, don't you find that refreshing? Before I go to my next question, what Utpal has just said.
Yes, I do, Dr. Julian.
Yeah.
And just to add on to that, the beauty about innovation that we have today and the kind of opportunities that are being created is a scenario whereby we are moving away from the winner takes it all. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you see, with these new innovations that are happening, is that we can, as an entrepreneur, I can decide to come up with a solution that targets a very niche market and be able to, to have a market, create a market for myself that I don't necessarily have to worry about the other big players, as opposed to, in the traditional models of business, whereby you are either if you started a business and you try to compete with the big guys, the either you are to make it or they could totally put you out of business. But the kind of opportunities that are being brought up by these innovations is that, look, with everyone, sorry, the winner doesn't have to take it all. We can all have our own different segments, and we can all coexist, side by side. We can all actually even complement each other, so that actually, there is no loser, so that everyone actually is a winner, being able to meet different niche, needs. Because as we said, as we move more into, as the world become more digital, consumer preferences are becoming very, very sophisticated and very, very complicated, so that we are moving away from, those products or those solutions that fits to all customer needs. So we are having a situation whereby, you can have product A or solution A meeting preference X for customer, and you have another different solution being able to meet a different preference or a different need for the customer. Back to you, Dr. Julian.
Amazing. Wow. This has been.
Yeah,
This
so
has
I
been.
think, Dr. Julian, there is a term which is coming in my mind.
Go
So,
ahead.
yeah, so one is design by an iterative approach. I mean, you build over a concept is already there, and
Yeah.
on that concept you build over on a iterative manner, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
another is design by innovation.
Yeah.
So, which is essentially uh, right. It is a completely new concept. So
Okay.
and one I forgot the name of that speaker, and I was
Mhm.
hearing him in one of those conferences, and he was telling that, see, at one point of time, BlackBerry phone, okay, BlackBerry smartphone, that with your finger that you can this thing was so popular kind of thing. What Steve Jobs did, he came up with a completely new thinking. He has not built upon that the existing concept, right? He
Yeah.
came up with the touch screen. So this is something, I mean, kind of a revolutionary innovation that you come into bring into your product, okay, and that becomes a success kind of a thing. Yeah, so I
Amazing.
thought of adding
That
those.
is a good addition. Oh, that was really, really good. Thank you so much. So, as you're talking about enterprises, you're talking about building enterprises, be they digital, be they traditional, but we're focusing on digital. There'll always be challenges or risks, or what others said, what could go wrong. Part of those we have already discussed by way of your responses to some of the other conversations earlier. We've talked about disruption, the possible disruption of quick change and full gear transformational environment that makes things irrelevant after a short time. We've talked about the skill set, especially the soft skills being an issue or a challenge. But I also wanted to pose this as a standalone question, and I'm directing this to Upal. What do you see to be the biggest challenges or risks within the digital enterprise space? What could go wrong?
Yeah. So I think one of so there could be many, but
Yeah,
one thing that I see is basically the mitigation plan, right?
yeah,
So when you have got a risk, definitely you should have some kind of a mitigation. Many enterprises, small and medium enterprises, are coming up with a very calculative mind, okay, but without considering that risk and mitigation kind of a
yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah,
So, for example, for a small fintech, okay, so they are doing pretty well. Everything is going good as per their calculation. Some fraudulent activity happens.
yeah.
Some cyber security attack happens.
Correct.
Okay. They don't have any kind of backup.
Yeah. Just give me a minute. I have a problem with
Yeah,
my
sure,
power. Just give me a
sure,
minute.
sure,
Something just
sure.
went, something blew.
Yeah, sure, Dr. Julian.
Okay.
Please take your time.
Okay. Sorry for that. We've been having a problem with electricity in the country,
Okay. So
and
is it?
I think my photocopier has blown up. You just did you hear that
Oh,
sound? Pa, 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 pa.
yeah.
So sorry about that, but we can continue now. I'll have to look at it after this. Sorry about that. So you were saying,
No, that's
Utpal.
absolutely fine. Yeah.
Okay, thank you,
So,
thank you.
so, uh, uh, so I think that aspect is very, very important. So, probably a hack in your server, okay,
Yeah,
some kind of a fraudulent activity,
yeah,
some kind of a cyber attack can jeopardize the entire thing because you don't have enough fund, enough resources to come out of, from this kind of a scenario.
yeah,
Okay, so looking into those aspects is very, very important. When everything is good, everything is going goody goody, probably everything is very, very fine. But at the same time, we also have to think of that, yes, there could be challenges, there could be this thing. So that is number one. Number two is not with the entrepreneurship because I see some kind of a challenge into the VC system, the venture capitalist ecosystem, right? So any country, and today if you look at globally, I think the investors, uh, whether it is angel investors or the venture capitalist, they should, uh, although they have got a lot of experience, of course, I don't deny that,
yeah,
but they should encourage these young entrepreneurs because many of the capitalists, okay, have reservation in terms of not investing in the early stage. That's why people are moving from here again there, and they're
yeah.
not getting funds because fund is a very important component, right?
Oh,
So if you are thinking, it's a very important component. If you are thinking of a product and take it to that level, that scale, definitely you cannot do it of your own, right? It's not possible. So somebody should give you the fund. So I think this maturity need to come into the capital providers or the capitalist in that way. So that is also very, very important component. Otherwise, if I just look into a profit making kind of a machinery, then probably a very larger system of the ecosystem, okay, which can easily become an unicorn, okay,
Yeah.
those will be left out.
Yeah. Wow.
And thirdly, I would say uh, endorsement from the government is very, very important,
Yeah.
right? Government cannot give you fund, okay? So no government gives you fund, okay, right? But that endorsement is very, very important, okay? They can, it is more than a fund, right? If
Yeah.
government does that endorsement in a right way, okay, not in a wrong way. I'm not saying that you take I mean something, so but they should encourage that, okay. But at the same time, your country, your market should also be open for the global players,
Yeah.
because there are countries, I don't want to take names, but their strategies are different, right? Uh, so when you are in a globalization kind of environment, when it is globalized, so you are enjoying the benefits of globalization. So at the same time, you should also should be ready to sacrifice for the globalization, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So it is not only take, it is give and take. So
Okay.
these are some of the factors which is very, very important. So of course, your own, you need to look at your own risks, your these things. Second thing, your venture capitalist ecosystem need to mature. They are
Yeah.
mature, but they need to also think in a different way. Endorsement from your government is very, very important.
Yeah.
Okay. And fourth is basically you are in a global village, right? It's a global village. So you should abide by the rules and regulations and policies and sentiments of the global village, right? So that's what I can say.
That was very, very well put. I don't think a lot of what you've said I would not have thought about. And this is the beauty of the conversation such as this. You've actually gone into spaces that most of us may want to ignore, but are critical to the success of the digital enterprises that we set up. So again, Utpal, that was a very powerful response from yourself. You'll be glad to know that the hour is almost complete. But I will never go away without asking you the last question. You've shared a lot today. We have actually, in my view, we've been very rigorous in this exercise. Personally, I take away a lot of learnings. You've said you've learned a lot, or you've taken away things to reflect about, and I don't doubt Paul as well. So, if you're to guide our young people, we are discussing digital entrepreneurship. If you're to guide young people into increasing their knowledge or expanding their know-how, or getting into the depth of what we have discussed today, what kind of resources would you direct them to?
So, uh, as an entrepreneur or as a founder or a co-founder, uh, 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 so people need to know a lot of things,
Yeah,
because when I mentor people, because somebody coming from say probably purely technical and uh, doesn't understand the economics, right? Uh,
yeah,
the accounting part, because see in the initial stages, everything you have to do of your own,
yeah,
right? You have to
yeah,
build your balance sheet. You need to
mhm,
look at all those things. If you have to build a projection, you have to build your projection,
yeah,
okay, and you have to convince the other stakeholders with that projection, okay. And if you get an investment, and that investment, how you are going to spend over something, if you have to create that kind of a plan, right? So you need that kind of a knowledge, right? So technical knowledge is, of course, there are lots of things available in the internet. There are forums available, like your forum is a
yeah,
very good source uh, for blockchain, Web3, metaverse, and all other things. And also you yourself coming up with a lot of experience from the marketing and all those things. So this is also a very brilliant platform. Uh, on the entrepreneurial side, I think there is not only one skill, there are multiple skills. It is like you are the head of your family, right? And to run your family, okay, whatever you need to do, okay, so you will have to do, okay, to sustain your family, to run your family, kind of a thing. So, and many things I think probably also comes from the common sense, So
Yeah.
if somebody has a very good common sense, then actually they can be a very good entrepreneur. Because I'll tell you something from the Indian context. So there are some communities in India which are known as business communities. Although I'm not from that community.
No.
Okay, yeah, I'm not that from. So there are communities there coming from different states of India. So they are from business. So their culture is like that, right? So they learn business from their family culture. Okay, so
Yeah.
it comes because many things are common sense, as I told you, right? So
Yeah.
for that, definitely you need that kind of, and that also it is, although, and somebody is teaching you, right, from your family. Okay, and you have been growing up in that kind of an environment, so you already know all those things. So it is like if your dad is a musician, so automatically you will have some music knowledge, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you will understand that. So same thing goes. So I think definitely there is a systematic study you will have to do, of course, for that. Different courses are there, different materials are there. Lot of common sense plays a major role, and also you need to know different verticals. It's not like that I've just built the product and I'm done, I'm good at technical. No, you need to know accounting, you need to know how to build production, you need to know how to build project plan, you need to know how to actually build,
Yeah.
I mean, focus your all other things. So that in the initial stage I've seen people, they have done by of their own, they cannot spend, okay, they cannot spend on a CA,
Yeah.
chartered accountant, right? They can spend on a legal firm for legal matters. Okay, they cannot spend because there are a lot of government related things, a lot of tax related things. There are a lot of things coming into picture when you are starting an enterprise, and you are opening this. So that's what I can say, Dr. Chidin.
Fantastic. Utpal, always a pleasure having you. Today, I was very deliberate in sweating this conversation and getting the maximum out of you because I know we could. And I'm very excited at what I'm taking away as a person. And I don't doubt those who will be listening on this recording today and in the future will draw a lot of knowledge coming from your experience. And for you to share it so selflessly, I can only say thank you. As I believe that we'll continue this relationship and we'll continue to engage to even become better people at what we do. So I accept my most sincere gratitude for you finding time and sharing your knowledge with us. We say Asante Sana and you say Karibu.
Thank you so much, Dr. Julian. It was always been very delighting for me to have conversation with you, and of course Paul. And it is really, as I told you, it is enlightening for me also, and I would love to be part of this kind of conversation in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And Paul, as usual, you can say our last word to our chief guest who has been very gracious. Paul, over to you.
Of course, Utpal, it's a pleasure, and we really appreciate your time to be with us. We don't take it for granted. And also to our viewers who have taken time to be with us in this online live discussion, we also appreciate your time. And since this is the end of our discussion for today, I want to wish everyone a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, depending on where you're calling from. Thank you so much. Bye for now, till we meet again next week.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Paul. Talk to you
Thank you.
soon.
Bye bye.
Bye, Paul. Bye-bye.